In Lebanon, Hezbollah fires a barrage of rockets at Israeli troops, foiling an attempt to invade territory. Hurricane Milton will make landfall in Florida on Wednesday night and poses a major threat to life and property. Ecuadorian police said on Tuesday that at least 5 people have been shot dead in a new massacre during a state of emergency declared by President Daniel Noboa to curb violence. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrera from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We'll be with the news. Stay with us. In Lebanon, Hezbollah fires a barrage of rockets at Israeli troops following attempts to invade territory. After an address by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in which he threatens Lebanese citizens to end up like Gaza, and a contingent of the genocidal army was deployed in northern Israel. The promise to enter the territory was repelled by Hezbollah fighters from where they claim to have repelled 2 invasion attempts. One of them is the southeast through the Lida Pass, and the other in the southwest through the Libo Pass. In this context, Israeli airstrikes have scaled significantly in southern Lebanon, particularly targeting the village of Kian at the coastal city of Tyre. The village of Kian was faced during the airstrike with reports indicated that Israeli aircraft bombed over 30 towns and villages surrounding Tyre. Reports indicate that at least 10 firefighters were killed during a strike while they were preparing for rescue operations. In the last hours, Israeli genocidal forces have committed an undetermined number of massacres in Gaza with weapons provided by the U.S. UNRWA coordinator Felipe Lazzarini described the situation this morning in the north of the Strip as an endless hell. Israeli genocidal forces armed by the U.S. have been citing 400,000 defenseless Palestinians in northern Gaza. The will of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of expelling Palestinians from the northern Strip is being fulfilled before the international community's eyes. In Palestine, Israeli airstrikes targeted school, housing displaced people in Jabalia, north of the Gaza Strip, killing 3 people and leaving several wounded. The Palestinian Red Crescent Society informed that they transferred 25 injured people to the Bal-Stibs hospital after the attack on the Al-Rafid school, during what has become the 4th consecutive day of military side. The refugees of Jabalia, mostly displaced from Beit Nahun and Beit Laia, are being forced to leave the area by Israeli eviction mandates. Russian Foreign Minister spokeswoman Maria Zakharova condemned recent Israeli strikes on the Syrian capital of Damascus, describing them as a gross violation of Syrian sovereignty.
I would also like to comment on the latest Israeli strike on Damascus. It took place yesterday evening, October 8. Once again, Israel grossly violated Syrian sovereignty by launching a missile attack on a multi-story residential building in a densely populated area of Damascus. According to the Syrian authorities, 7 civilians were killed, including women and children. 11 people were injured. The rubble is now being cleared. We strongly condemn this action. Whoever the target of the attack was, it was carried out on the territory of a third country in a dense residential area, which leads to inevitable casualties among innocent people. And it is outrageous that such actions have literally become routine practice applied to Syria, Lebanon, and the Gaza Strip.
Let's take our very first break, but remember you can now join us on our TikTok account at teleSUR English, where you'll be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. Hurricane Milton will make landfall in Florida on Wednesday. It poses a major threat to life and property as it hammers the state with destructive storm surge, devastating wind damage, potentially catastrophic flooding, rainfalls, and several tornadoes. The National Weather Service in Tampa Bay said in a briefing that the track of Hurricane Milton continues to be a worst-case scenario for Tampa Bay, the region southwards to Charlotte. Milton is a Category 4 hurricane, peaking winds up to 130 mph of 3 p.m. It is centered 150 miles southwest of Tampa and is tracking to the northeast of 16 mph. Tampa, with a meteorological area that is home to over 3 million people, has not had a direct hit by a major hurricane in more than 100 years.
Most importantly, I've urged everyone currently located in Hurricane Milton's path to listen to local officials and follow safety instructions. You all have been reporting on the highways, the shoulders being opened, everybody's heading out. And if you're under evacuation orders, you should evacuate now. You should have already evacuated. It's a matter of life and death, and that's not hyperbole. It's a matter of life and death.
Meanwhile, traffic began to pile up in Interstate 4th, heading northeast from Tampa to Orlando as residents of the Florida coast fled inland to avoid Hurricane Milton. The powerful Category 4 storm could be the state's worst in a century. In this context, Hurricane Milton continues to slowly move away from the Yucatan Peninsula. Mexican authorities declared a yellow alert for the moderate danger in 47 municipalities. The State Coordination of Civil Protection announced that a powerful storm will cease to affect the Yucatan Peninsula in the next few hours, but will maintain the rainy season in the region.
The wind was strong and there was a lot of rain, but thank God it was calm. I was afraid because apparently Hurricane Milton was only going to hit the Yucatan Peninsula, but it came in strong at about 11 o'clock at night.
In Colombia, President Gustavo Petro denounced a coup d'etat against his government and called on the country's social movements to mobilize in defense of popular sovereignty. The head of state's comments happens after the National Electoral Council accused him of having illegally financed in his electoral campaign. And now let's hear some statements of the Colombian President Gustavo Petro.
I want to publicly express our solidarity with President Petro. The National Electoral Council of Colombia, 2 years after the election, has opened an investigation for campaign expenses, which he called yesterday a coup d'etat. Because this investigation process is opened even outside the laws of Colombia. So, our solidarity is with President Petro who, as you know, is practically the only progressive president Colombia has ever had. So always our support, our solidarity. When there is always an injustice, it is part of our policy to address it.
The President of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, addressed on her morning press conference murdered of Mayor of Chilpancingo, Alejandro Arcos, and assured her government is actively working to find out what happened and identify and prosecute the culprit.
We are working with the State Attorney General's office. Security Minister Omar Garcia Harfuch is there, and all the intelligence required by the Naval Intelligence Institutions of the Navy, the National Intelligence Center itself, in order to know what happened, who are the responsible parties, and make the necessary arrests.
Let's take our last break, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English, where you'll be able to watch an interviews, top stories, special broadcasts, and more. Hit the subscribe button and active the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. One final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. Ecuadorian police said on Tuesday that at least 5 people have been shot dead in a new massacre during a state of emergency declared by President Daniel Noboa to curb violence. According to the police, the incident took place in El Recreo sector at the city of Duran to the southwest of the country. Residents of the area state that the attackers were wearing clothing very similar to those of the army. The province of Guayas, where the city of Duran is located, is still under a state of emergency, but these measures does not seem to be able to contain this unprecedented wave of violence in the country. The National Assembly of Venezuela approved a preparatory agreement that proposed the government to break off diplomatic and commercial relations with Spain. The request was made by the President of the National Assembly, Jorge Rodriguez, in view of the Spanish government interference in Venezuelan sovereignty. The incident occurred after the Spanish oligarchy agreed a motion in the parliament to disregard the electoral victory of President Nicolás Maduro.
That's why I'd like to urge this parliament to approve by absolute majority in an enthusiastic manner. I spur you to approve as we are outraged, but concurrently we are aware of the value that we have inherited from the glory of our liberator. So it's our duty to pass an agreement where we peremptorily request that the Bolivarian government breaks off diplomatic, consular and commercial relations with the Kingdom of Spain, those lawmakers who are in favor of the agreement presented by Vice President Pedro Infante. Please raise your hands as usual.
In Venezuela, President Nicolás Maduro held a meeting with the Secretary General of the Organization of Oil Exporting Countries, OPEC, Heithano Gais, to discuss the current outlook for the international energy market. During the meeting held in Caracas, topics such as the development of OPEC Plus bylaws and the expansions of the hydrocarbons market were discussed. This meeting was accompanied by national cabinet authorities as well as the president of Petróleos de Venezuela, Héctor Obregón, and the vice president of the state oil company. Changing topics in sports. In Spain, an exhibition honoring late Argentina football player Diego Armando Maradona has been running since Tuesday in Barcelona. The displays, which will be open for 2 months, includes a hologram of young Maradona dressed in a Boca Junior jersey as a homage to the club with which he won his only National League title. In addition, a reconstruction of his childhood home at the outskirts of Buenos Aires will be shown.
People come here to have fun and have a good time, and they will feel. Those who are grown-ups will feel like kids, and those who feel like kids will get to know Maradona, who many don't know. They know he existed, but here it's like coming back to live, coming back to feel that Diego is next to you, and that's the idea of feeling him. That's why we have everything.
And with that story, we have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, on X, and on Instagram as well. For teleSUR English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.